Hello, hello. Hey, there we go. All right, this thing is on. Hey, Marty, Dennis Caye here with REMAX Land and Development on the beautiful island of Ambergris Caye, Belize. I just wanted to send you a video email rather than typing all this out. First of all, I really appreciate you getting back to me, and congratulations at staying at Cocoa Beach. I agree, that's one of the top premier properties in Belize, not just on Ambergris Caye, but in the entire country of Belize. Doug and Herm Penland, the father and son team who built that, did an amazing job. And sorry things didn't work out for you though on that casita. In looking at rental income on the island, most people have this idea that they can buy something and then pretty much live off the income they get by renting off their condo. And it's just not that way. There's a lot of expenses involved in Belize, much higher expenses than you might get in other parts of the world. For instance, the United States, there's a lot more maintenance issues to deal with, a lot higher HOA fees. And then with the management splits, typically 70-30, 40-60, 50-50 at the resorts, the owners actually get a lot less than what some of these sales guys try to sweet talk them into. So, anyways, I'm glad you found out that it wasn't for you by having your lawyer look over the paperwork. But I do have clients who bought up there and they are very happy with the rental income they're getting. It's just a much lower number than they originally had projected. Anyways, if you've watched some of my recent videos, you can see that I'm not a big fan of improved properties. I mean, condos and homes are one thing. If I have clients who say, they're absolutely going to come down to Belize every single year for 2 or 3 months, and here's what they want to do, and they've been there before, that's one thing. Or that they want to retire to Belize and they're on a limited budget and they just want to sort of buy some things. They don't have hardly any monthly expenses. Then that might be a good way to go as well, to buy a starter condo, maybe something in Royal Palms or Banana Beach, something like that. But to be honest, I'm a real estate investor at heart. And what I do with my own personal money, what I encourage all my clients to do, is what I showed there in one of those last videos where I compared condos to investing in vacant land. And it doesn't have to be vacant land, but take advantage of the way that we can sell or finance in Belize. And so, for example, if you were to tell me, Dennis, I want to buy one of those second or third row lots, doesn't matter what subdivision it is. Let's say it's Habaneros, Punta Azul, Secret Beach, doesn't matter. So you buy a lot, let's say you spend, 45, 50 grand for it. You got another probably 5 to 10 into it, filling it and making it build ready. And now you're going to build a house. House is probably going to run you a minimum of 150,000. Plus, you're going to furnish it, get it all nice and set, do some gardening, plant some palm trees and whatnot. You're probably going to have about $250,000 into the house. Now, I got to ask yourself, what is it going to take every year to maintain? Things in the Caribbean tend to be in a constant state of deterioration. So there's always painting to do, always maintenance. Spraying for bugs, that sort of thing. It's not a big deal, but it is an expense and it is some work. What I personally choose to do with my funds is look for properties that I can buy and then resell with seller financing. So, for instance, if I had the same 250,000, I might look for a small portfolio of vacant lots that are in up and coming areas that I can get with a good deal, buying them cash for a good deal, putting them right back on the market at a much higher price, and selling it with owner carry financing. Accepting 10% down. I charge 10% interest, and sometimes I'll go 5, 10, 15. I even have a couple of deals I did for 20-year AMs. And because really, I don't want the money back. It's making 10% for me. So figure if you had 200 or 250,000 in a system like that, where you're making 10 points on it, you're making 20 to 25,000 a year. You can very easily go down to Belize and stay wherever you want for that 20, 25,000 and bounce around and do different things. My wife and I also like to travel. We've been all over the world. In fact, right now we're in Paris, France. And I like to invest my money that way. That gives me the freedom then to say, you know what, I don't have to go back to Belize to the same condo every time. For instance, if you were to get that condo at Cocoa Beach, maybe you feel obligated to every vacation go back and use the same casita, and you'd have the same experience. You swim in the same pools, the same bars, you get the same restaurants all around there, which is great. But I like a little variety too. So with the way I recommend investing is doing it for the return, and then looking at using that money to go off and do whatever you want, even if that means going back and staying at Cocoa Beach every single year. So, as far as the different subdivisions go, I guess you have to look at what is the most desirable, first of all, from a financial perspective. Secondly, from a resale perspective, and then finally, maybe some personal use. So, for instance, Secret Beach, you know all about that. You know where it's located. It's 3.5 miles up and 3.5, or about 2.5 miles over. So it's about 6 total miles from San Pedro town. And in between there in San Pedro town are a lot of cafes, restaurants. It's got the paved road. So to me, that west side is absolutely where it's at because it's the only place on the island that you can get sunset views. There's no sea trash that washes up over there. If you've been on the east side, you know that every morning that sargassum grass comes up. You have plastic bottles, you have junk from the Caribbean floating in. You don't get any of that on the west hand side. The waters over there are completely clear, clean. The beaches are clean. And I know it has a lot of bedrock, but that's just the makeup of the island. And plus, it has those sunset views, and you overlook Cayo Rosario and Blackador Keys off to the distance. All of that sort of hypes up the area. It makes it very, very desirable. So I would recommend that number one, you look at anything over there, whether it be second, third, fourth row lots, anything more inland than fourth row just doesn't do it for me as far as resale value. But anything between second, third, and fourth row is good. Also, you're asking the question regarding beachfront. You know, you got that one beachfront lot for 135, another for 160. Here's the deal on those. The one for 135 is priced below market value. The one priced for 160 is priced above market value. And here's what. The one for 160 comes with owner carry financing, and he'll get 160 for it because he's willing to accept 10% down, which is 16 grand, carry the balance at 10 points. So imagine a young guy comes around, he's 30, 35, 40 years old, he has a successful business, he's got some money in the bank. You know, he sees this beachfront lot, but he doesn't want to sink 135 grand into something. But he does have 16, 20,000 in the bank, so he'll go ahead and buy the more expensive one. And I've seen this happen all the time. I can give you actual lots and numbers for people who have done this. They don't have the money to buy cash, so they go off and buy something a little bit more expensive, and maybe he won't get 160. Let's say he gets 150. But the one for 135 should probably be selling for 145, 150 anyway. So really, they're about the same. And the guy that needs financing will gladly pay 160 for a beachfront lot because he's thinking in his mind, you know, compared to what? I could buy this beachfront lot for 160 here, or what? You know, I go to the east side of the island and spend 350,000, or I go to the lagoon and buy a lot for 100, but it's on the lagoon. So you got to think about these things and what's in the minds of the buyer. So what I recommend is you buy second, third, or fourth row lots because they're the easiest to flip. A lot of people have, you know, let's say you buy a lot for 45,000, or let's say 40, and you put it back on the market for 55. Well, a lot more people have 5, 10 grand to put down on something and make payments than have, you know, ability to make payments on a $160,000 lot. The ones up in Habaneros and Punta Azul, those are interesting, especially since the government of Belize, Prime Minister Dean Barrow announced that they're going to build an international airport up there. And I did a video on this. Go to my YouTube channel and check that out. So what that means is that subdivisions far north, what I consider far north now, because San Pedro town is here, those subdivisions are, I think it's 9 to 10 miles north of town. That's pretty far on a golf cart. And what is interesting is if you can pick up some of those lots and some development happens up there, then you can make pretty good return. But I'm personally buying lots up there. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm buying some lots in exactly the same subdivision as you are, but I'm considering those as long-term hold. I'm just going to park my money there, and in 10 years, if I want to do something with it, fine. At least I'll break even. But for shorter flips and potential personal use, I'm considering more the Ambergris Bay area, the Secret Beach. All right, I appreciate it, Marty. I know I've been kind of long-winded here, but I thought I'd give you the full scoop as I see it. And let me know your thoughts, and we'll go from there. All right, cheers.